easiest, but you have to know your integers. If you don't know like -3 plus 8 or 4 minus 9, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. So that's why I have to teach it so much in that first chapter. But you have a calculator, so if you get stumped, it's not going to be the end of the world. You just are going to take a little bit longer than everybody else. With simple, okay, we're just going to do a little bit of writing right now.
These are the steps?
It's going to be 3 terms. And it must have a 1 in front of the x squared. 3 terms, and it must have a 1 in front of the x squared. You have to have an x squared to do these problems. If you do not, you can't factor it. There has to be an x squared. No, not an x to the third, not an x to the fourth, not x. It has to be x.
Okay, you have to have 3 terms.
And a 1 in front of the x squared. So if it looked like this, that's okay, because we know there's an imaginary 1 there. But if I did this, I know this is not simple because this number is not a 1. But I haven't done any examples, so just copy what you see there. And the steps. Again, kind of lengthy, but might help later on. Step 1. First determine if it is simple or innumerable. Is it simple or innumerable?
The first thing that we know was there is 1 minute.
Right.
Professor Agent, I just had a question. On our final, you were saying that if we put like a 1 in front of, the B, we need to get out of that habit because in the multiple choice, it won't be there, right? Okay.
But you can do it, just know when you look at your answer key, it's probably not going to be there. Okay. 2, make 2 sets of parentheses. So like that. And you're not going to put anything in them yet. Step 3. Put in the first 2 slots the variable U-R-1. And for example, let's say we're working with x, you're going to put an x here and put an x here. So that's what I mean by the first 2 slots.
And that's why it has to be squared.
Okay, last step. Just copy for a second. We haven't even done a problem. You'll understand the steps once we start the problems. Step 4. Look at the constant. Constant's just going to be your plain old number without a variable attached to it. It's going to be the last number, or the last term. So look at the constant, which is the last term. Think of 2 numbers that multiply to it. But add or subtract to the middle term. You got a lot going on here. You've got multiplying, you've got to think of adding and subtracting at the same time. It's just a big puzzle. You've got to figure out what the mystery numbers are. And then you can put a little side note here. This isn't really a step, this is just kind of a little tidbit on signs. If you need to add your missing numbers, to get your middle term, they will have the same sign as your middle term.
What are those?
If you need to add your missing numbers to get your middle term, you have to have the same sign as your middle term. These rules apply 99% of the time. I'll show you a couple little ones that not always work that special way, but 99% of the time it's pretty close. The other little tidbit, if you need to subtract your missing numbers, to get your middle term, then they will be different signs. And a larger number gets the sign
Of the middle?
yeah, it's the same sign as the middle term. I know it's a lot of writing, you're like, oh my goodness, one little problem, I have to think of all this stuff. It's just when you get to intermediate and you have started all over again, you get back to factoring and you're like, ooh, let me go look at my notes, and all I have is an example. It's only one step, and that's not going to tell you anything. So at least you'll have some wording in there that can help you along when you're trying to get back to your problem.
Thank you.
All right. Give me a second to get that down. I'm gonna